Good weekend. Ira Epstein with your metal market wrap-up. And this wrap-up is for Friday, the 5th of May. Cinco de Mayo, by the way. I forgot to say that in my other report. Happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody. Boy, when I was younger, I think I ended up in hospitals on a day like today. You would drink so much tequila, you would be so sick. Enjoy yourself. It is Cinco de Mayo, and enjoy it. What else can I say? What a day. Whoa. I feel so good sometimes that some of the calls work out. The rally in gold. I said a couple of things to you here. The trade is crowded. Said it certainly in my morning subscriber videos. By the way, remember on those subscriber videos, if you're watching me on YouTube by any chance, you see the join me button? Click it. Learn how you join me. That is where I'm Atlas Unchained. All right, that is where I can say, buy here, sell there, do this. I cannot do it here. There are restraints to what you can do in a public forum as a registered broker. You cannot do certain things. So one of the things I cannot say here is I want you to buy here. I want you to do this. I want you to do that. I can't do it. I can do it as long as it's behind a user ID and a password to my subscriber. That's where it's all done. And I do it Monday through Friday morning. All right. So you typically, unless there's a holiday, five times a week, you're going to get it. And I do it both in spiders and ETFs. So one for that, and then one for the stock, for the futures market. So stocks, spiders, ETFs in one, futures in the other. I love doing them too. I really like teaching and the actual results of the trade. And I live by them, all right? Why not? And I show them, by the way. So as this is all developing, I don't just say something and forget it. I'll show you what the current trade is, what's open. I don't do a running track record, not a CTA, don't want to be your financial advisor. I'll talk about the trades that I said to just put on. I'll follow it, lose or win, start to finish, and that's where it will end, okay? I get people always asking, Ira, send me a track record. No. I don't want to be a commodity trading advisor. I don't want to be a financial advisor, and I don't want to manage money. Can I be any clearer? I'm a broker. My firm will handle your trades and futures, and I have an advisory service, and I like what I do in that. I really enjoy it. Okay, so today's big break in EGCM. All right, this was interesting. I can tell you one thing I was doing. I was very aggressive in the gold market on my Spider ETF today on the break, telling people I think this is where you want to come in. But I was concerned that we were too overbought on a crowded trade. So today's break, you rallied back. You were down almost $50. That's a heck of a break. Let's say why. As you can see for the month, you're up 1.29% on a closing basis. Well, you're going to be up the same on a weekly. The month and the week began the same day, all right? So that's how you're working right now. Do you remember I've had this line up here forever saying that was the resistance zone? You're there, all right? Are you in excess of it? You are by about $15. Okay, you're in that zone. The market had a heck of a run to the upside on a weekly basis. The trend is up with higher lows, higher highs. The market is over the 18-day average in red, which is over the 100. The 100 is over the 200. It's a classic bullish setup. Where's the resistance? Do you know how to work with slow stochastics? That's what these are, Bollinger Bands, and you'll see the slow stochastic in a minute. The combination, not one by itself, the combination can be phenomenal if you learn how to work with it. It can be lethal if you don't, all right? What it says in essence on a Bollinger Band is the market, when it hits it, 95% of the time the market will stay within the band, on the downside or the upside. Can you get days in a row, a couple of them where you stay outside? Of course you can. Is it the norm? It is not. 95% of the time, you will see it stays within the bands. Go to Investopedia, read about it. You can learn the formula. But the key to me is tying it with this. This is part of it. Learning momentum with it. I think on its own, you're sort of trading with one hand tied behind your back. With both, you really open up the door. At the end of this, I have an ad on it. Educate yourself. It's not expensive to do so. It's inexpensive. Will this stick with you? I predict if you take the course, you're not going to forget it. How's that? You may not want to use it. That I can't help. That would be foolish on your part. But if you use it and you take it, you're going to say, I remember that guy. I remember what he pointed out to me. Darn it. So up there is where I think the pros took money off. If you embed, which you haven't done on a weekly basis, have not done, that'd be much more bullish. Right now, you're overbought, fighting that number. You can do that for a long time. It's hard to buy in the futures this contract. The gold-silver ratio, the lower this goes, the stronger silver is against gold. And the silver market, well, you can see both numbers are not over 80. You're just overbought again. You got to the Bollinger Band, you backed off, and you're still overbought. Am I bullish? Yes. Is the market overbought to the point where it's saying on a weekly chart, no, Ira, you don't want to enter? That's what it's saying to me. Doesn't mean that's saying it to you. In the copper market, you have a higher high, lower low. There's really not much you can do with that. The market is caught. Copper looks at the market, I think, the word is I think, and it says, well, down the road, we don't have enough copper because everything's going electric. Copper's a big part of that, blah, blah, blah. We don't have enough. But today, that's down the road. Today, the market's saying, you know, the world's trying to slow down demand for everything. What does Ira mean by that when he says it? Well, central banks, when they're tightening rates, are not loosening the economy. They're trying to batten it down and slow it down so they can get hold of inflation. It's not working at this point. What do I mean by that? The statement's not completely true that I just said. Headline inflation most certainly has fallen hard. Core inflation has fallen, but it's gotten sticky. It's saying, yeah, I can drop with you, but I'm going to be reluctant. Jobs are the key here because everybody in America that wants a job probably can get it. Now, is it every person? I don't know every person, but the numbers speak for themselves if you want it. How long are people on unemployment claims? Short as can be. You need a job, you can get it. And while we see certain employers are letting people go in the tech area, which is a fallout from what? It starts with a C. COVID. That created all those jobs because nobody was working in offices, and now we have a hybrid work. But a lot of people like me still working outside of the office, and many people I know doing that. I have a bunch of friends that do go to the office every single day. All right, so it depends what line of business you're in and what you're doing. But as I look at this market, I say, okay, we're down and oversold. We're into the Bollinger Band. It's between that number and the 359 level. I think you're going to find your support. That's too broad, 359, because you're only 387. That's 30 cents away. So the first support's going to be the Bollinger Band, and that's what I'll be looking at. In the platinum, you got a trade that got up to the Bollinger Band. What do you do when you hit the Bollinger Band and you have an overbought condition? Take the course. I'll talk about it in a minute here. In the dollar index, the trend is down. You're a bit oversold. This market is not said to be a buyer since the beginning of March. When you're under the 18-week average, you have a bearish bias. You're looking for setups. Now, while the weekly chart may not have thrown out signals, did the daily. You got to look at my daily work to get a feel for that. So you put it all together. You try to come up with game plans for it. And how do you go about it? Well, how you go about it is real simple. You learn. Education is the key. Anybody can say, buy here, sell there. Anybody. Doesn't matter who they are. You want proof? Turn on Bloomberg, turn on CNBC, all day long. Buy here, sell there, here's an opinion. Some of these analysts you've never heard from, it's their 15 minutes of fame. What can I tell you? I was one of those guys for many, 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 many years. I've been on everything. I know what it is, and I know what it is to do it, and I've got my own thing now, and I love it. But it's education. At least they're smart enough to know why they're saying what they are. It doesn't mean if they're right or wrong. You have to get to that point. But here's what I believe. Are you an investor or a trader? If you're an investor, you don't need technical tools. Do your analysis of the company, your PE ratios. Do you think the company's going to be around? Why? Is it going to grow or not? And forget the chart. If you're a trader, you need every technical tool you can get your hand on, learn them, and then throw away 90% of them. Why? Because you only want the ones that filter out the other ones that you've decided to keep. You get to a point where you're trying to filter a trade out, and if you can't, then you take the trade. It's the opposite way of thinking, but it makes so much sense. You can look at money management. You can look at momentum management. There's so many different ways to look at it. Bollinger Bands with slow stochastics are super important. Take a look at this and do yourself a favor. Get educated on it. Welcome. I'm Ira Epstein, and I'm here to talk about my enhanced Bollinger Band course. Now, many of you have taken my regular charting course, and if not, you might think you know something about Bollinger Bands. As you know, Bollinger Bands are an algorithm designed to keep the market trading within it 95% of the time. And on a chart, it will offer on the top part resistance, on the bottom support, and the idea is the market will travel within them. We know that sometimes it latches onto that band, goes up or goes down. Well, how do you play with that? Can you pyramid the positions off that type of thinking? Well, I've applied all three of these into 13 different videos that teach you my concept of it. And from that concept, you're able to work with weekly charts and or daily charts. The 13 videos, each about 7 minutes long. The idea here is not to put you in school forever, but to teach. Now, if you haven't tried my complete futures research, I throw that in as well. Whether you've tried this or not, I think it's worth taking a look at. I think you're going to learn something from there. That research, by the way, covers twice daily market updates for you and access to what I call window envelope numbers, which I think are very important when looking at these Bollinger Bands. The next part is a trial to our charting software so you can make your charts look the same way that mine do. It's that simple. Where do you go with it and how do you get all this? It's simple. You go to our website, www.iraepstein.com. If you go to the word education, everything you need is answered there. You can also call my staff. They'll be happy to help you get set up. I'm Ira Epstein, on the road to your education.